Morning, everyone. We're running a little bit late today. We were all in watching Annie's swearing-in ceremony, and it went really good. And we're welcoming our newest council member to the table, Cheryl Annie Jackson, so District 3 representative. So we'll get started. Our agenda is really not that packed, but we will ask for the council if they want to add any more stuff to it. So, but of course, I want to call the meeting to order. It is 9:20. Alan, do roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. District 1.
Here.
District 2.
Here.
District 3.
Here.
I'm here, Mr. Chairman.
We have a quorum. Miigwech. Next up is review and approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, just a few things I'd like to add on the homeless property. We're looking at up in Menominee, right next to the old Senex for the Boyd and Girl Club. It's just south of that. The only thing is we can't get an LLC through the rediscovery. So he'd like to see if we get an LLC through the tribe, because that's the only place that we can use this, and it's $5 million that we've got to use it here within due time. But if we specify a location that we can use, then we can keep this money. But first of all, we need an LLC, and the rediscovery program won't go through with that. But he's looking at building a 28 building apartment for half for women, half for, or a third for women, a third for men, and then families. And we could break ground on that next spring if we could get the LLCs, and that's not getting help from other places else. So it would be only for our people.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to bring up, I guess up there at the casino, there's a difference whether you're a $100 player or a $1,000 player, but these $1,000 players are getting away with, the other day, it just happened over the weekend, this high roller, this lady won a hot seat jog, so she put her seat up and took her card out and went to claim her hot seat jog, and this lady behind her, the machine got up and walked over and cashed at $7 out, put it in her pocket and walked around. I did bring it to Scott's attention, and I told him, I said, if you're going to allow that, Scott, then maybe we should put together a rule for these high rollers that they can go around and pick machines up, because I had a guy that cashed out $1.50. They caught him, they kicked him out for 30 days, and they were trying to charge him for theft. Now these high rollers either got to be treated the same way as a $100 player, because they're all in there for the same purpose, to gamble. I mean, these high rollers, just because they're high rollers, shouldn't be given, and I know if they're another one that they kept the machine open for this guy for almost an hour. He had over $600 into this machine, and he left and was gone for over an hour and come back, and they watched that machine for him while he was gone. And a lot of people wanted to play, and they said, no, we can't do that. This is for a high roller. And they would never do that for a $100 player or a $20 player, So I'd like that looked into, and I did tell Scott about that. He is looking into it.
Okay.
And then the rice prices. Oh my God! People are saying,
that's a good one.
People are asking if we're going to pay $4 a pound. I said, I don't think so. Not right offhand.
Yeah.
And then the cameras up in Rice Lake. We got 9 cameras up there, and only 4 cameras. Thank God we got a good picture. The ones that broke into the building there, off of one of the cameras. So we got 9 cameras up there, and only 4 work.
But you got them.
Yeah, we caught them all. Yeah, we caught 4, but you can't find 2. But we got the majority of stuff back, but it was destroyed, and there's like $15,000 to $20,000 worth of damage. They were in there for over 4 hours, just breaking up and busting stuff up in it. And the bad thing is, they weren't even from the community.
No.
2 were runaways, and 2 were from the cities up there visiting, staying with their aunt, and wanted to stay at their grandma. So
Yeah, I got a call from one of the parents saying that, their kids in Northwest Juvie, and just like, can you help me get them? I was like, I was like, no, I can't. You're here right now. I'm like, he didn't do nothing. So,
Oh, and I did hear on our meeting out here, I'm sorry I missed that, but I had a meeting with Scott and Ben that same day, but they were talking about lighting in the projects. You know, these lights have been fixed on numerous occasions, but they seem to get shot out or broke up by the kids, and the electric company just don't like coming out. You know, they've had to come out so many times to repair those. I know that would curb the crime, but first of all, we gotta find a way to keep them lights from getting shot out or busted out.
And I know housing at one time, they used their community fund to fix those lights too, I thought.
Yeah.
Is that that?
They
That
did once.
they used their,
They were, yeah, but now they quit too because they've been shot out and broke out so many
They
times.
keep fixing, you know, they were fixing them. And,
because I know they fix around the curves and around the RBC here. I mean, yeah, they're.
so they.
Put a cage around it or something?
Well, they were looking at it, yeah, but even with the cage, they got them pellet, they're so strong, they go right to the cage and it still hits the light. They can pump these things up to. But that's all I got on there, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
For sure, we had a lot of, we have a lot of funerals this week.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if the rules are still on, only 10 to vote in.
Yeah, I got a couple of funerals this week too, I gotta go to.
Yeah, I
So
know
we've
that,
been really having a tough time with it. And, the other thing, I brought in a bill for ground faults. I don't know what it is it for electricity?
From all.
And then I also, we did select someone for the community rep, you know, the people voted. And that turned out okay, and we can fix up that office in the whole center. But I did speak with Soren. And no one had notified him to go up and check out the buildings. So he said he would. Wasn't that last meeting?
what building was that, Kathy?
That's for the boxing and.
Oh, the
I
boxing,
wanna
okay,
know how much
okay.
it cost to fix up,
Yeah, I sent him an email to go up and do that. He didn't do that?
you know. He said you never
Boxing?
contacted.
Oh, is that what you
No, I
said?
sent him an
The
email.
boxing building over down
Yeah.
on,
Probably like
Wash.
me.
It's like a gym,
Yeah.
steel building,
Yeah.
garage.
Boxing building.
Go up there again.
Like, the only thing I had was, only, cause you got the White Earth on there, I did get a call from the Rice Lake folks. They were, wanted to see if they could have a discussion on, Derby. And then I did get a call from Pine Point people that they're having a social gathering.
Yeah.
And they were seeking support too, if we're gonna do something for White Earth. These other communities had expressed interest in receiving support too, so. So I maybe just add those two with the White Earth if permitted.
Yeah, and that's something that the Paul committee contacted me too, that they'd be willing to share their leftovers or their funds that are gonna be not used to Rice Lake and, Pine Point. Said leftovers.
Well, I hope you don't forget now, you two committed $200.
I don't
Yes,
think I
I-
either.
that too, Rick.
I don't even know what my budget is for next
I
year.
told him I'm depending on it.
But like with, somebody reached out to me about that sobriety, social feast, and I know Curtis, the CSOs do a lot with that too.
Yeah.
They provide the food for the sobriety feast, so maybe I told him to get a hold of Curtis. Is what I
Curtis?
told him, yeah. Reach out to Curtis and see what he can do.
I know Jeremy is also working on a grant, that would help too with this, get more funding in for those. And I believe the signatory request is in your guys' packets for that.
Maybe we can cover it and talk the White Earth one, Mike?
Yeah, we'll talk about the powwows and the derbies and stuff with the old business, with the Warriors annual powwow celebration.
Okay.
We'll talk about it there, so. But the only thing I have is this SSC, bring them back to the table and, look at, where we're at and, talking to a few employees that are still laid off and looking to come back, and I know that we can't really bring back a lot of employees till we get into the next phases, so we'll have a discussion on that, so.
What's the date on that, third?
Well, I know phase 2 is supposed to be July 16th, but we're still in phase 1, so, but Scotland will be on, and I think they've been reaching out to the EOC and getting recommendations, and so, well, we'll hear what they have to say, and then we'll go from there, so. And I know in my report I'll bring up marijuana, it's getting a lot of headlines, I was in High Times, I was in Minnesota Reformer, so it was a good interview I did with Max, and, he's kind of delighted about some of the stuff, and I mean, when we look at the medical marijuana and, processing it or being a grower, it's like, it's a lot of information. I mean, there's so much to it, it's just like, 10% is just like the plants, the shelving and stuff, but 90% of it is the regulatory part of it, is the policies, the ordinances, working with the state, working with the feds, working with everything. I mean, that's where it boils down to. That's where where we have to, if we're gonna move down the road, and, if you remember the election, that was overwhelming, that the people have spoken that they want medical marijuana, and, as from us as the tribal council is like, economic development, I see right away, because, you talk about the facilities, and talking to our existing contractor now, and looking at the facility we have at the chip factory is already food grade, it's already, he said, in California, this plant would be worth millions and millions of dollars. That's what every tribe wants, is what we have in the chip factory. It's already there. We already have the infrastructure.
Yeah.
We already have it. The main thing is regulatory, how are we going to, and then, like, next week, it's ironic that Tina Smith's gonna be here, and, and these are some questions we could talk to her, it's like,
What day is she coming?
she'll be here on Tuesday at
1:15.
1:15. So, I mean, because the thing with the tribes out west and, in California and Washington State is, of course, it's like gaming, it's like young gaming, and back then when gaming first opened up with the tribes, is that they were worried about the mafia coming in and taking over and exploiting the tribes and strong-arming them. So they created NIGON, from there they created, the states created their own little gaming industry, so I mean, the same thing is like, these are things that we'll probably have to talk to, Senator Smith and also Governor Walsh and Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, what our intentions are gonna be as the council here, looking at what direction we are gonna go with this marijuana. So I think it's exciting. It's something that, if we get out of the gate right away, we'll be the plow we're going through this industry in the Midwest, being a grower and being one of the pieces on the table finally, because remember, there's only 2 growers in Minnesota, and they're both, so these are things we're going to probably have to get a lot of questions for Tina Smith next week, and, that's one area we're going to talk about. The other, there's many other things that we'll talk to her too, but she's going to spend an hour with us.
Will
I know-
Walsh be on it?
And then Patina Parks from the governor's office will be here on Wednesday at 11 o'clock.
Wednesday?
Patina wants to come up and visit us and hear our concerns too, so we can bring up the same kind of questions, on Wednesday with the state. And I reached out and talked to our tribal liaison for the Minnesota Department of Health, because who holds the license and who gives the license out for these growers is the Minnesota Department of Health has those licensures. So those are things that are consultation when we have it next with the Commissioner of Health, is that we'll be touching on that. Jackie Dion, that's who I reached out to, and Jackie wants to sit down with us and go over some stuff with us, and of us becoming a partner with,
Isn't easy, getting medical marijuana?
They make you go through hoops, you have to go from IHS to the pain centers where they're at, and then they refer you to the marijuana centers, and then they issue the license, you gotta pay the fees. I mean, everything's kind of like hoops. And I think these are things that we can probably look at and, bring on our own bring on some doctors or bring on telehealth. Everything right now is on the phone. You know, you can do consultations or whatever on your phone to talk to a doctor about your anxiety, about your,
Yeah, and
you know, all that stuff that encompasses our people.
who is Catholic Church, or, you know, the Catholic, and they will not do anybody. So it's, you know,
So it's gonna be a good road, I think. I mean, we get the right, you know, team together and we can possibly make a lot of money on this, so. And then help our tribe, help our membership. You know, eventually when the state does go green, then, you know, there'll be opportunity for everyone, you know, so. But, you know, that's about as much information I have on that for the marijuana part, and I think
Wednesday
that.
at what time?
When?
Wednesday, next Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, next Wednesday is gonna be, Patina Parks and Tina Smith will be here Tuesday on the 1st at 1:15. Patina will be here on Wednesday at 11 a.m. So,
Are we gonna meet her here?
yeah, we'll meet Patina in this room, so.
And then Tina here as well?
Yeah, we'll meet Tina here too, huh? What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Yeah, so.
What time was Tina?
Patina,
11.
11 on Wednesday, and then, Tina Smith's on Tuesday, the day before at 1:15. So it's good. I mean, good things are lining up, and, you know, we got the national election coming up, so everything's kind of heating up now, so. All right, so I think that's all I had on there, was this SSC. Okay. Annie, do you have anything else? You just talked about, the sobriety fee stuff with that program?
No, I would like to at some point, get on the agenda for, hazard pay for the essential employees. If there's money left of that COVID money,
Yeah,
I mean, that's very important. And as I, was hearing, they haven't had no kind of raises or anything in the last 2 years. So it's like, that's something too I'd like to, you know, learn more about, because right now I really don't have much on my.
And Scott on here too, he could debrief you on some stuff today
Yeah.
too, and talk to you about some of the regulations on that. And, you know, and I know that, we did talk about it. We were looking at a lot of different models, and I think that, you know, that's what we have left right now, and, you know, looking at what Congress is gonna do with 20 to 25%, so we can put it back in our general fund, the losses that we had this year with our shooting star due to COVID, so. But yeah, I mean, we can talk about it.
And there's another, Jack Haw property, people going texting me on that, and I told them I don't know what's going on with that property or anything yet, so I wanna get up to par on that too.
Yeah, and I think that right now is in the capital, what do you call it, fund that we're looking at, is all the projects that we have in here.
Martha and Danny wanna come on, they wanna come on next week and give updates too on those properties, so they'll be on the agenda next week.
are you gonna bring that list in next week then, Mike, or?
Yeah, we could do something with the list, because I know IHS, Maria Clark, and I know that, who else has reached out to me? Pat Butler on the health board and stuff, and she wants to revisit joint venture, so that's something that we'll have to bring back next week, so.
Oh,
Can we get moving on it this year?
Yeah,
and another thing is, employees been, asking why they're not getting any updates on if they're gonna be called back, if they should be looking for other jobs, and
from the government side?
from this side and
Yeah.
Shooting Star.
Well, Shooting Star it's just what phase we're in right now, and I know phase 3 is we will bring back 300 to 400 employees, so.
Okay, and then, I
And
want.
here, it's like, we're just still kind of, we haven't, the EOC really hasn't gave us permission to open doors up. We still have a lot of people working from home. I know that, money's been tight. I know that we're looking at the general fund. I know that, like, I know Boys and Girls Club, I'm getting a lot of calls on that one too. You know, what we're gonna do when we go back to work, and who's gonna watch my kids, and, you know, B&G would be one of the big things to, you know, help me with my kids, you know, when I go back to work. And so these are, I guess, things that we'll have to look at is, you know, and I know B&G is is a big, item in our general fund, so.
Well, it would be just nice to get the employees up to par on where
Yes,
they sit, you
good
know,
point.
because they're out there wondering, do I have a
Yes.
job or, you know?
And I brought that up in many meetings about, us, even dealing with evaluations, and, giving directors pay increases while we have a bunch of our band members still not recalled yet. So that's the thing that holds that up, so. All right, good.
I've got a couple of dates for, commissioner consultations. Yeah, so the Department of Revenue,
Oh,
he's looking at, September 9th at 10, September 14th at 1, or September 17th at 1. Do any of those work better?
what's September 9th?
So Wednesday,
Is it a Wednesday?
what time?
10 a.m.
Okay.
He's got it from 10 to noon.
That'd be a good time to bring up these tax issues that we were talking about, Mike, at that community meeting. You can bring those issues to him.
I don't know, the last time the tax commissioner was here last fall, there was the new updated contract because of the Wayfair lawsuit where all of the internet companies have to charge the appropriate tax. And they had recalculated our sales tax based upon this. And I don't think Whiter signed it yet. And when we sign it, we'll get more tax. And I think there's $800,000 that's outstanding.
So that'd be a good time to bring that up. Maybe just sign it when it comes, huh, Mike?
Yep.
Okay, and then I got one more. Department of Public Safety.
Oh, Commissioner Harrington.
Yeah, he's got a number of dates on here. He can go from the 2nd, the 3rd. He's also got the 9th open, if you want to do a day of that. 14th or the 16th.
Should we do the 9th at
Yeah.
1 p.m.?
He's got Wednesday night, yep, from 1 to 2, he can do it.
On the ninth,
Yeah.
Yep.
Be a big day of news.
And then I'm still working the Department of Labor and Industry. We're still working on, he's still trying to get some dates for me, but that one, they'll do virtually.
You get a lot? Virtual.
Unless you want me to suggest a date and you want to do that same day?
3 o'clock?
I mean, I could throw that date at him
Well,
and
the
see if they
commission-
can work that
They
in.
don't even have a commissioner right now.
No, they have an interim, yeah.
I can bring them on, I guess, find out what works for them.
So I'll shoot for the 9th. Is that okay? You guys up for
Yeah.
a full day of consultations?
Might as well get it done. 'Cause we still got a
You're
fall.
done. Check with the sheriff
That what now?
for housing. Is Lester Blue done? Not that.
Yeah, I picked some, Lester was Terry Kibbitz's pick. Yeah, so I,
Who do you have?
I don't have anyone.
Nicole, I thought,
Oh, yeah, but she's a D2. Well, I can pick from any district, can I?
Anybody. How about you
what is that?
for housing board?
Oh, hardly, but yeah, I got a guy on there, but I guess he's been on sick leave and I told him he should be calling into these meetings, but he hasn't, so I'm looking at it, I'm gonna have to change somebody, put somebody else on.
Okay.
No. So you wanna do housing stuff today, or
Well, I just want to know.
do you wanna do your drawing today?
actually, no, because I'm still going over the ordinance, because, I think it's gonna take the tribal council to remove, but I have to look at it and see what.
Okay.
We'll just Right.
Yeah, so,
Who is for?
Umsey appointed Rosella,
Oh, yeah.
and I think Curtis is still on there, and I don't know when his time is up yet.
Well, they have terms, they're
Yeah.
like 4 years or something,
Yeah.
but I know some of them are expiring now.
Yeah,
So
so
coming up.
I may have two to drop them, because I'm not gonna hand choose, I just can't do that. You know, so I'm gonna just, get, some have sent me names, and then I'm just gonna either have Mia help me with Facebook Live and get it done or something, you know. Just to be fair, I don't want.
Well, we were talking too about, I also talk about separation of powers and we're talking about doing an election. I know Leech Lake did a little special election for their housing, but we could add school board on there too. So I mean, we could do a multiple,
Do an election next spring, maybe, yeah.
So I'm not sure. That's something we can discuss. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna do it.
I like your idea.
All right, motion to approve the agenda.
One other thing, Cheryl, before we get to on the position on the TEC, I got a few calls from, I got a call from Archie and a few other ones from TEC about, who's gonna fill Umsey's position
He
on,
was on finance, wasn't he?
yeah, I think he was on housing and finance.
Wouldn't you do that?
No, I'm on DNR
You're
or
on.
DRM.
And they were just saying that, they were kind of hoping that I would get it, and I said, I don't know, that's up to the board. I said, it didn't even dawn on me to even, but I just thought of that when they were talking about, appointing people in and.
Well, we'll be a discussion, I guess. on that.
Yeah, we'll have a discussion on that, huh?
Yeah, that's just something that come up.
Okay,
Talking to a few of the.
One more thing, Mike, I think you have to, is it this meeting or the next regular meeting, we have to select the vice?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is it this meeting or the
I
next?
think it's the next meeting.
Is it the next?
Yeah.
Alright, so it'll be next meeting?
Yeah, we'll do it next week. All right, motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Ray, second by Kathy. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, the meeting minutes for 8/16/2020. Or 7/16/2020.
In that, whatever that, and so that's the system in that.
That was nice.
Take it out next time. Are you having a 2-day call? Are you having a 2-day call?
No, just, I think it's only gonna be like 2 hours and a demolition. It's just a.
Oh, really?
It's only like a hearing deal, not just a quick deal we're gonna have with, demolition review. And that's it. We're not even gonna have a lot. He's done.
Really? You should find out what every community is. I think this would be 2 days.
Well, I would like to see that walk continue to do, because, a lot of people say we should at least have a walk on that same day.
You get a lot of people too, we do
Outdoors.
so.
Page 5.
See, I don't need to intervene in a being counselor, that's why you pretty much run it, I just have to know, so they call me when they need help.
On,
So,
hey, you guys were here when Eugene was here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Page 5 of 8. We're talking about, motion made to access and assess the compact agreements with local law enforcement agencies for modification. I think there was like specific language we had, Mike. I think it was like make sure there's cultural sensitivity, body cams, citizens commission. That I just asked the staff to add that, Mr. Chair. That way it's in the minutes. So just that listing of stuff we had passed there. That'd be the only change I got, Mr. Chair.
Anybody else have anything? Motion to approve the meeting minutes for 7/16/2020
With modification.
with the modifications.
Motion.
Motion by Ray, second. Second by Alan, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
I'm reading and writing. Okay.
All right, next up are the monthly reports, and I'll go first. And I guess this past month in July was, working hard, and I guess one of the things that kind of brings to mind right away is our community meeting we had with our constituents and some public other membership across northern Minnesota, and it brought a lot of light and it settled a lot of like they wanted our people wanted to be heard, and they wanted to talk, send a message to our council that there's lots of things that are going on out there that we need to participate in and be more part of, I guess. And some of the stuff, talking to anything from our land to the federal part of it, the land, what's that called now? The land transfer, anywhere from that to to being more open. I know they were talking about this meeting ourselves right here being more we're being transparent of being on live TV, but they want to be participating in it. They want to come in and watch it. So I mean, until we get to that point, and and hopefully it'll be very soon that we'll be allowing our membership to come in and and discuss. But I think that was a really good meeting that we had out there, because it just kind of got them to express themselves and their feelings on a lot of things that's going on that's moving around us right now. And I felt really good about the meeting too, and listening to their concerns. And I know there's so much, at any given time there's so much going on, and like today, if we look at our agenda, it just starts off small, but we just fill it up so fast. And and the things that are right around the corner is like ricey, and that's been, I've been talking to people that have been out going ricing, and so looking at the pictures on Facebook, and just this admiring all this, and looking at the races, it's just like, yeah. And then the economic benefit of getting our people out there and talking to my kids, and they're excited about coming over and racing. And I said, yeah. So so it's really good that we a lot of this positive stuff is floating around still. And and talking to our band membership over there this few days ago, and with our meeting over there, and just sitting down and telling them that we're having these programs and we're creating things to help our people, and to get things out there to protect our people, as from these harmful drugs of meth and heroin. So I know that there's a lot of a lot of healing needs to be done too, and I think that's a good conversation we've been talking about before, with Ray talking about the healing dance and the Rice Lake community. And I think that's where a lot of us, the songs, and I think it's really important that our community, and this Saturday in Pine Point, where, like Kathy said, there's so much death going on right now, and I think there's a lot of somberness out there where people need to feel better, and especially with dealing with COVID every day. I think it's important that we as a council support, and help our family members out in these times. I think it's important that we continue to do our songs, like today at Andy's inauguration here. Listen to those songs, Anishinaabe, Ogima, Kwe, I think that's very important to hear these songs, and it's something that just really makes me feel good inside too, to listen to these young men sing those songs, and it's something I think that us as all of a council, that we need to hear these songs more and more, for our daily lives and how we handle our people across, White Earth Nation, and I think it's important. So, and like I said, you can call me, and I know people have been messaging me and calling me, and I've been like really busy, so I apologize if I haven't got back to you, Dwayne. I know some people, kind of get mad at me, get frustrated with me because I don't get back to them like within an hour, so, but I do return all my calls, and so I really appreciate your patience, and I appreciate the council, and that we will work hard for you. So that's what I want to say, and and I want to say miigwech to everyone. So miigwech. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I can speak more clearly here.
Did you get that?
So, first I want to congratulate the District 3 representative for her recent election. Look forward to working with you and having a productive relationship and working on behalf of the people and bringing good things and finding a good way forward for our people so that we can get them the help that they need and deserve. And I do also want to thank Umzi Tibbetts and his family for their service for these past 4 years. And it was good to see that you guys are good friends.
We are.
And so that's what we need here in White Earth. We need to do what you just did, and that shows a lot of leadership, Joe. And so I do want to thank you for that. Also, I do want to also say I just got 4 items here, Mr. Chair. The first thing is I've asked Mr. Scott Omlin to come down because we had a conversation yesterday related to the budget. Mr. Omlin will make a few comments on a budget schedule for the fiscal year. I want to remind the RBC we do have a fiscal year budget that is due on October 1st. And so he's also going to comment a little bit on the capital improvement list. And after he's done commenting on that, Mr. Chair, I do have, I'll discuss an inventory community council meeting and then an August 20th letter from Mr. Justin Keyser. So Scott, if you could, I'll turn it over to you for a couple minutes if possible, Mr. Chair.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
Are these permanent?
Well,
For the dry erase.
We'll take it out of your budget.
Well, one of the generalities is, we have 4 different types of funds. We have grant funds, and you can spend your grant funds in certain ways, and we have a lot of grant dollars. And we have third-party billing revenue from the health department, the behavioral health department, and they have quite a bit of money, and you have to spend that money a certain way as well. And then we have indirect fund that pays for some of the departments like finance and IT and administration and HR. We got adequate money there. But the general fund, we don't have adequate funds, and the biggest problem is the loss and closure of the casino. We budgeted $18 million of revenue last year, and we think we're going to finish the year at 12. That's a $6 million decrease. So last year, we were running here at $22 million of expenses. And if we're going to come in short, maybe 10 million, 10 million down, we're going to be down, we're down here at about 12 million now. And we're going to have to redo our budget for next year. And we're going to have reductions. Because if we stay up here, we're going to go bankrupt, insolvent, in the general fund. BIA, somebody will come in and take us over. It's really bad. Somebody could be prosecuted for doing illegal things. Somebody could go to jail.
If you misspend money to try to make up those losses.
Yeah, so if we take money out of indirect, if we take money out of third-party billing, if we take money out of grants to pay general fund expenditures, that is illegal. Somebody could go to prison for that. So we're down here. Now, we stay up here and budget up here for next year. We're gonna go bankrupt before the end of next fiscal year. This is painful being down here, but this is affordable. Now, we can do a couple things. Can we move up? Can we have business income replacement? We could do two things. We go up, we look for business expansion and new revenue, and we go back up to here. Just kicking the can down the road, and we're gonna go bankrupt further down the road than this fiscal year. We look for expansion of business revenue, whether it's hemp, casino gets better sooner than we think, some other new projects that I'm not aware of that economic development is working on. Maybe we can move up and go here in a sustainable one, sustainable. You know, but right now, we're gonna have to budget down here for this year, next fiscal year. We're gonna have to have a balanced budget. And you know, the problem we have a balanced budget, and a lot of times, every year comes along and somebody comes in and says, I got this great idea, this great program that would help the people. Or sometimes the council comes in and says, you know, we think we should do this. If we're down here, you add these things in, I mean, $1 million funeral fund, $1 million humanitarian fund, and nobody is saying they're bad projects. They're good projects. We get back up here. It's gonna be disaster. It's gonna be disaster. This happened before in the past. Before I came, when Frank Johnson was here, and he told councils many times, we can't do this, we can't do this. And they weren't listening, and they weren't listening. And then finally, one Saturday morning, he called all the council members together and said, we don't have money to pay payroll next week. We don't have money to make payroll. And good thing they had good relationships with Bremer Bank, and they went and borrowed the money, and they did a lot of things, and they got back on track. But that could have been a disaster. But you know, it's hard to say no. I mean, we could have, if we had twice as much money in the general fund, we could still spend it in good value and provide wonderful services. But we don't have that money. You know, unless we can come up with new revenue sources, or the casino gets better, hemp gets better, medical marijuana, other ideas, whatever they may be, that's what we're going to look for. So we're going to be looking at the second week in September to do budget reviews and go through budgets. And you know, if we need, we're going to have 2 days in the second week, and if we have to go to the third week for more review, we will. I encourage you to be there. Your input is important, as well as your knowledge, because I'm going to have to come with suggestions for cutting. And right now, you know, I heard something about Boys and Girls Club this morning and the importance of it, and we all agree it's important. But originally, they told us in the budget, you know, 2-3 weeks ago, Boys and Girls Club wasn't even going to operate in next fiscal year. You know, and I would personally ask myself if schools are starting by distance learning or hybrid model, limiting, how can we have Boys and Girls Club? You know, and I don't walk in their shoes and I'm not in their places, but they're pretty crowded. You know, but those are questions that are going to have to be addressed. Are we going to start with Boys and Girls Club at all? Are we not going to have them at all? Or maybe we're going to wait and see if we have money, or wait and see if the pandemic goes away. Because number one, we have to be able to pay for it, and number two, we want to be safe for the kids. So those are the things we're working on. And we have to have an approved budget probably that last Friday in September 25th, because we have to, by MCT guidelines, have an approved budget before October 1. So those are some of the things that we're gonna be working on. And if I can get you to want to pass that down as well. Okay. So here is a list of projects that we have on the capital equipment list. And some of these things have already been passed by resolution. You know, which resolutions pass a lot of things, and sometimes they get done immediately, and sometimes they get delayed, and then sometimes they never get off the ground. Total cost, $69 million. Well, first of all, we don't have 69 million to do them all at once. Couldn't afford to do them all at once. You know, maybe if it takes us 10 years to do all these projects, if we decide that those are the ones that are important, that 70 million might go to 140 million with inflation over 10 years. But, you know, council's gonna have to drive and determine which are important. You know, some small projects from Rice Lake Mechanical Canopy, 23,000. Rice Lake parking lot the addition was put in and the parking lot was designed so poorly that it's, you know, there's an architect estimate for 137,000 to fix the drainage because water goes into the building. Natural Resources wants some building improvements, 10,000. But then there's big things, homeless shelter, 21 tiny homes, assisted living, urban homeless center, Jack Haw, Christian retreat, detox center, Writer Child Care, Medawash joint venture, OMC daycare expansion, lodge expansion, administration building, GSA garage and car wash. You know, we've talked about these things, almost 70 million. We've identified, we have some grants for some of these things. I think Jack Haw has $1 million, you know, grant they've already received. Some other possible grants, maybe possible grants of up to 10.3 million, but that's still 59 million, $60 million. You know, and it's hard to identify, my priority is this and your priority is this, and you know, where do we come and identify and where is the money gonna come from? You know, do we go out and borrow the money? I mean, just like if you wanted to spend 22 million and kept spending 22 million, we'd have to borrow money to survive, but if we borrow the money, then it makes it tougher down the road. You know, how are we gonna get the funding for these? You know, what is the priority? What's top on the list? You know, I don't have those answers. You know, those are tough questions. You know, I'm glad to hear that Martha and Danny are coming because a lot of the projects on this list are behavioral health projects, and they have a much better idea. I don't know what their priorities are. You know, I can tell them what the cost is and how to get there, but I'm not in a position to say, oh, this is the one you should do first. That's not my expertise.
Well, the key point that you're trying to make as well, Scott, is that we want to do all these projects. The issue is we can't do them all at once.
No.
And so, you know, maybe they can be done over a period of time. And so, that's the question. You know, I really lean on the district reps as treasurer to kind of give me some guidance on, you know, and the chairman as well, and where you guys want, you know, me and the staff to work, you know, because some of these projects you might, like for example, you got 17 from the governor that's still hanging out there. Hopefully we get it back because we got what, 42 million in behavioral health?
42, 43, somewhere in that.
Yeah, yes. So 43, 42, and then you got this big question mark on 17 of that, you know, and so you can only do so much over the next 2 to 3 years because they're saying we're at 90% revenue last year. Instead of making 14 million a year on these take homes because of the changes they made last year, we're only making 1.2 million a year now in our behavioral health program.
Are they, is mental health in that doing any visits right now?
They're doing
Tele? Okay, yeah, because I know them aren't available. And I don't believe in paying the state back any money because,
yeah,
I mean, it was their mistake to begin with, you know. I let them sue us. But I just don't agree with paying them back a dime.
And we have been battling with the state since day one, since they started saying that we owe them that money. We have been down there and met with them. Al and I even got up and walked right out of a meeting with them.
Well, my understanding is Leech Lake ain't paying it back to them, so, you know.
You know, and I think we all agree with you, Annie, about that. Wasn't our fault. We asked a lot of questions. They gave us bad information. Now it's 17 million. Leech Lake and us could decide never to pay them back. But the state, if the state comes in and says, you guys owe it and we don't pay it back, they'll take it out of our payments. They would have the ability to make us pay it back because they just reduce our payments.
Because we have to get more information on that.
Yeah,
We can't
but
say,
I mean,
we can't
it's
say that
too
over
early
the,
to go
you know,
down that
live
road.
TV, so, I mean, what else do you have, Scott? I mean,
But
these are things that
that's
for
pretty
lawyers,
much
so.
the list, and talk about that and go from there, and we're finishing up the budget and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Well, you know, the 23,000, we did find that for last year, it was put into a resolution to get that done. Now, I'm wondering where did the money go and why didn't it get done then? Because there was a resolution passed on this over a year ago, and we had the money then to do it. So I'm wondering what happened to that money that we had for that project, because here we are again, it's gonna be the third year, and them big air conditioners underneath there cost about 75 to 100,000 a piece, and if that ice comes out busting, then we're in a worse, we're behind it, you know.
23,000 is a cheap deterrent from paying much more.
Exactly, and it was supposed to, and I did see the resolution, it was passed last year, and I'm wondering why wasn't it done there? Where did this money go all of a sudden? And that's something I wanna look into, because there was $23,000 approved on a resolution, it was in resolution form and everything, it was done, and it was supposed to be done last fall, and according to Bernie, they never got to go ahead.
And just within the last 2 weeks is the first time I ever heard about it. I didn't even know about it.
Well, you were right in the meeting the day we did it last year. When we approved that resolution, it was approved right here, and you were in here that day that we had that meeting.
Okay, if I was in there, I'd forgot.
Well, anyway,
There is a resolution that said, you know, it was approved, but like I said.
And now I don't have the money to do it, is that what you're saying, or?
I'm not saying that. This is just on the list and, you know.
Scott, look into that, okay? Thank you. Al, you have anything else?
Yeah, I'll just continue on with my notes here. So, also next month in my report, you'll find a copy of the audits for the year, also inventory of, an inventory minutes as well. Also, for just a comment on the community council meeting. We did take notes there, and we're gonna get those typed up and sent out to everyone. And there was a specific request for staff. If I could ask Mr. Chair, the staff reach out to the community councils, try to set up another future meeting. Also, I do want to request again that the staff, Mr. Chairman, come forward with that requested resolution for potentially using CARES funding for the community councils and for potentially tribally owned small businesses. I haven't seen a copy of that resolution yet. I do have tribal members asking to see it, even if it's just a draft. The fourth item, Mr. Chairman, I did receive an August 20th, 2020 letter from Mr. Justin Keyser addressed to the Minnesota Chippewa Tribe and the Tribal Executive Committee, as well as to us on the White Earth Reservation Business Committee. There's some specific language in here regarding the corporate charter of the Tribal Executive Committee. I'm requesting, Mr. Chairman, that this be forwarded to our legal department for review, and that the legal department issue an opinion on what's being said here, Mr. Chair, and then also as part of that opinion, if there are any actionable recommendations that we as TEC members could bring to the TEC to be addressed, even if we have to send letters from the White Earth RBC to take a look at these things, Mr. Chair. Also, Mr. Chairman, I do also want to note that it's really important. I just want to echo what Scott said, that we all take time to go to these budget meetings, so that we can have a firm understanding of those models up there. Basically, what he's describing is, 4 different options, right? We can keep things where they're at, we can try to go back to exactly where we were, or we can find somewhere in the middle. This is basically what he's describing. I think he's accurate when he says that through business performance, as the casino opens up more and they start generating more revenue, we can start to rebuild. I won't go outright and say that, we're right where we need to be right now. I don't think we can say that accurately. I think what we can accurately say is we need to start the process of recovery. And that process of recovery may take a while, may take up to a year, may take up to 2 years, to be honest with you, dependent. Nobody knows the market. We don't know how things are going to go. This is all just business related stuff. We're going to have to rely upon our business team, our casino team. What I do know, his comments that, if we continue on that top line right there, we're going to run into trouble. And so this is no one's fault, okay? I want to make that clear. This is no one's fault. This is due to the pandemic and the downturn of revenue because of the pandemic. And this is happening to companies all across the U.S. It's happening to tribes all across the U.S. I think we got a great team. I think Scott and them, they'll be working real hard up at the casino. I know Tom Bement and those guys are working hard on trying to come up with other business options. You got the hemp stuff. You're talking about medical marijuana, Mr. Chair. There's some stuff in the works that I think we can start increasing that line as we start to recover and rebuild. That is the key word, all right? Recover and rebuild. Recover, keywords, recover and rebuild. That's the mode that we're in. With that being said, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my remarks.
Miigwech. All right, district reps, Ray, I guess District 1 goes first.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, the deaths in our communities here, I would just like to set that one thing straight is that these last 2 that we had were not overdoses. There's a lot of people going around saying there was overdoses in our community. Well, they weren't overdoses. One, I don't care to discuss that right now on what happened to them, but one we are getting I am getting hammered on is because it's been put on TV, it's been all over, and all of a sudden they're coming to me and saying, well, why isn't our own nation doing something for our own little hero here? I remember I talked to you about that.
Yes,
I talked to you about it. Just a small ceremony for the family of them, that we could put on possibly a blanket or something given to them for, just to show that we do care as a council, as a reservation, because I'm getting hammered on that because they're saying, oh, this is on TV, it's been here, it's been there. Nothing from the tribal council. Don't you guys care? Well, of course we care. But I guess it never dawned on me to ever bring that up, but I do appreciate the people who are concerned about that, who are not family members. Otherwise, our community is going good. I'm looking forward to our little healing powwow up there, and I know there was some question as to bringing in DFL, and I thought, well, if we're going to bring in a DFL, we should bring in Republicans also, to be fair. But that's up to our community council. As I say, I don't intervene in our council unless they come to me or they ask me. I don't micromanage them, and I feel they do a good job. Our community council does a good job of what's going on up in our community. Yeah, there are a lot of questions as to lighting. It has come to my attention about lighting. The bad thing is though that a lot of these lights get shot out, and who's going to pay for them? Housing was paying for them, but housing has, their budget has gone down also. There's also people asking that maybe we should have security guards in our building up there, but our cameras do work, and we were able to catch the ones that were in our building were up there. We caught 4 of them, but we did have a couple good pictures. But they went in and they did tear out a lot of the wiring, thinking they must have been going to get rid of the cameras. Well, they didn't, and they started turning the lights on, and that's when we got pictures. So our cameras are working up there. They are doing a good job. I don't really feel we should have security guards up there because we don't have the money right now for them, but at maybe a later date, maybe we could put security guards in some of the outlying places, you know? But, right now, everything seems to be going pretty good in our community. The racing, a lot of our people are racing up there now, they're out and about. They are concerned about when are we gonna buy rice, but they do know that we don't start buying rice until, either our big lake opens or the refuge opens. Because if we were to buy rice now, we probably wouldn't be able to buy as much as we would off of a big rice lake, which is looking very good. The rice up there, wow, it's looking excellent. Otherwise, everything has been going good, but, yeah, I would like to try to plan a little honor thing for that family that was happening, because I think we should do that as a council and as a nation to honor them. Oh, and another thing, I do get questioned as to why we can't help children who are not enrolled, but their descendants. And I do try to explain to them that they have to be enrolled in order to get this, funeral expense, because now this is the third time I've run into it about, the children not getting this 2,000, why couldn't it go to the grandma? Why couldn't it go to the father, the mother? Well, that's not how it works. It's actually for the one that's deceased. And a lot of them just don't understand that. Maybe we should put that out more. And another thing, I've really been getting hammered here lately on our hotel because they're not accepting any kids up there. Matter of fact, just the other day, I got right up in here, these ladies were talking, I'm sure they come, I think that Mike took them to you, Mike brought them to you. They did let a couple of kids into the hotel room, and they were very upset about that because they said, if you're gonna do it for one time, why can't you do it for all? And I know there was some come up from the cities with their kids and weren't told that they can't have the kids there because nothing there for the kids. The pool closed, the game room's closed. So they're not allowing anyone under 18 up there. Maybe we should put that out in a statement well, I guess we're doing it right now. So as far as the rooms up there, until we go to our next page or our other page, right now, any children under the age of 18 are not allowed in the rooms. I don't know what to say about how that happened on the one that they did allow in there. But those are just some of the concerns that people got, and they want to know when the res is going to start buying and what's going to be our price. So, I'm going to get to that, Mr. Chair, and that's my.
Okay, very good, Trey. Kathy, you have any report, District 2?
Well, like you said before, there is, quite a few deaths. And I do wanna, last time I was here, I was really grateful for the land. Finally taking care of those little houses and what we're gonna do with those. So I'm glad about that. I wanna see if anything has come in or how she's gonna get it out. You know, so I'm really grateful for that. Their community council is really working hard. They service a lot of people. And so I'm grateful for them. And I'm looking forward to Harvest Fest. It's going to be a 2-day. One day it's going to be all games and parades and backwards parades and so I'm really glad for that. And then we're going to have a full, two grand entrance. So I'm looking forward to Harvest Fest. And other than that, it's a lot. But money-wise, it's pretty upsetting. We've got so much to do. We really do. And we were in this mess until the virus started on us, And so that's my biggest concern. Right now, well, everything is important. Homelessness is important. He gave us another eviction date, and that really hurts. I said I don't have anything. We used to have an apartment that burned down in Monona, and it really worked out well. And other than that, I don't know where, I know where we should start, but, we gotta make sure that all of the directors are on the same page. That's my biggest concern. And that's about it for this.
Okay,
Thank you.
Mr. Chair. I just forgot one thing. I'd like to congratulate Annie, our new District 1 rep, being on here. I look forward to working with you and welcome aboard.
District 3.
Or
Otherwise, I'd be,
District 3.
otherwise I'd be you.
I was looking at Kathy. But welcome aboard and I look forward to working with you and congratulations on your.
You wanna say a few words, Annie, or you?
Yeah, I just want to say Chimiguich for the warm welcoming. I mean, I look forward to working with all you. I want to improve District 3 as much as I can. I want to work with our community councils. I went to a meeting, was it last, I think it was last Thursday. It wasn't really a meeting, it was just a little get together for them. And I told them that I'd like to attend maybe one or two just to see what's going on. I still got to get a hold of Pine Point. I don't even know who's on that one, so, and I'd like to just meet with them. And I really like the way Nadawash is going. They're getting out there, I mean, Pine Point, all you guys do a great job, but White Earth is just kind of not doing much right now. So we got to get White Earth going.
Did you guys have an election?
Or no? No, I think some were appointed, but I'd like, I don't even know about the CSO officers, how they're doing that yet, so I want to meet with Mike and see. Yeah, that's what I would like our communities to do, because it's best that they choose.
Yeah, I stayed out of it.
Yeah, because I want to stay out of it. I just want to see how things are going.
Yeah, I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, and I also agree with Ray, I think we should honor this young lady, I think that was
tragic.
it was, and
That was so awful.
I mean, I cried when I was listening and reading this. It was just so sad, and
I was so caught up in what was going on, it didn't even dawn on me as a writer's res that we should be honoring her also, until people start telling me that. So it didn't mean anything.
no, and that's fine, and I just wanna, get used to what I'm doing here, and I wanna say Chimiguich to Umzi and his family, we are really great friends, so, no hard feelings there. We each told each other that, we hugged, and, I told him I loved him at the, so at the polls, so it's, it's gonna be a hard shoe to fill, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. And that's
Ray,
all I have.
Thank you. Administration will help you with that if you need any help or assistance with that plaque or blanket, and we can get that going and work with the staff that we have.
There was actually two of the young ladies that passed and their younger brother that were actually there. But mostly I'd like to thank the ones that were there that did CPR. They don't want to be noticed. But I think what it is, they don't want to take away from these kids that were actually heroes. But so I look at them as unsung heroes, ones that were also there that day. Just to let them know, I think that would be a way of opening the doors to get rid of some of this prejudice that take place, by looking at these unsung heroes, because there was a lot of them there that gave resuscitation and helped out, but they don't want to be recognized. And I believe they don't want to take away from the young lady. I believe they want to.
Okay, is the division reports, are those two on the call list?
For who?
I thought you were gonna have.
Yes. He's on. Scott, are you on? And we were running behind, so maybe he thought we didn't have him in, but he was. An email was.
You on your break?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a 10-minute break, guys, so we'll be back in 10 minutes. Be good.
Oh.